races or nationalities who happen to fall in there as well. But mostly is geared toward African Americans. Or I could even go as generally as saying that it's geared toward minorities. Between the year of 1973 and 2016, 156 people who were sentenced to death were determined to be innocent. Now, there's no reliable evidence that says that the death penalty deters people from crime or from committing crimes, right? Mm-hmm. A study actually showed, and I'm getting this information from CNN.com. A study showed the murder rates are higher in those states where we have the death penalty and lower in states without it. That feels a little backwards, a little crazy to me, but that's what it is. That's what the studies are showing. And that's what we got from that. And I'm not quite sure how we're still relying on the death penalty if we're seeing that it's not effective. It's not stopping anyone from saying, well, I don't want to commit this crime. They may put me to death. Whereas you actually have crime lower in states that don't even carry the death penalty. So what's the full purpose of it? I understand everybody. I promise I understand that not everyone is going to be regretful. Not everyone is going to have a change of heart. Right. Not everyone is going to give a crap about reflecting in prison. They did what they did and they're not remorseful. I get that we have those types of people. I get that we have people who absolutely have committed egregious crimes, and maybe the evidence for them was overwhelming. The issue with that is we have the death penalty not necessarily geared toward those people. Mm-hmm. It's geared toward African Americans. It's geared toward people who not necessarily needed to be there, needed to be in prison. People who didn't need to be executed. We've had people exonerated after being executed.
And that's the scary part. That's the scary thing about this whole death penalty thing to me.
Absolutely.
Because you have people, like you said, who've been locked up for years and years on end. And as you know, technology constantly expands.
Right.
And, they find new ways of, they discover new ways to explore forensics and things like that. So all types of things are figured out later down the line, like with the whole cold case file thing. I watch cold case files quite a bit. I watch forensic files quite a bit. And it's years later after this new technique has been discovered that they figure out, okay, this is what got this person off and this is what got us to convict this person. Because, they had, several ways. The ways of testing DNA back in the day differ from when they do it now. And it's a lot more accurate now.
A lot more accurate.
So, anytime your DNA can break down what African village you're from.
Okay.
It's crazy that so many people sit that long and then some actually lose their lives and are exonerated later. What does that do for their family?
What does that do for their family? I can't have my loved one back. And he certainly can't have his years back that he spent in prison before you executed him.
Right. And even if they aren't executed and they're exonerated and then they're out and they walk free, but they spent a great deal of their lives. I can only imagine just the smallest things that they get out and see that are different.
And that's a huge adjustment for them mentally, emotionally, physically, because the world has completely changed while you were locked away. It's not the same place at all. And now you have to figure out how to catch up and jump on board to be able to take care of yourself after they've taken all these years from you.
It's amazing. I was listening to you talk about your numbers, and I was pulling up women on death row. And as of April 30th, 2019, they're 55. And I'm looking at all the women that are listed. They have all of them listed here. Most of them are white. A great deal of them are white. Like the majority of them are white. You have a few Latinos in there. And you have your blacks. But I would love to sit here and count. I can't count it right now. But yeah, they're all most of them are white. There's looks like one Native American.
One Native American. Yeah. Well, as of April 1st, 2019, 16 women have been executed since the reinstatement of the death penalty.
Wow.
16.
So there are 55 waiting right now. And the 55th lady, she was sentenced to death on April 30th of 2019. Tiffany Moss.
Well, let's not forget the juveniles as well. 22 individuals executed between 1976 and 2005 were executed for crimes committed as juveniles. Now, I have to absolutely speak out against that. I definitely don't agree with that. I'm not saying kids can't do terrible things. And when we're saying kids, we are referring to anyone under the age of 18. Yes, you are a child. I absolutely cannot agree with you putting to death someone who made a decision as a child.
But you know what? That takes me to the statement that a good friend of mine, Becky, made on our poll. Becky Kent said she's totally against it, and she's wondering about prison reform versus the death penalty.
Absolutely.
And I think I was sitting here pondering that thought while we were talking the whole time. Prison reform. What does that look like? I think that definitely can come into play when you're talking about youth offenders.
Yes.
Because
definitely.
you could get them at that young time in their lives and start to try to mold them and just kind of deprogram and reprogram.
Right.
So I think that definitely can come into play in those type of situations right there. That right there was my answer. Thank you.
Right. You still have a great opportunity to try and turn them around because, yes, whatever crime that they committed, I'm not saying that they don't do things that should absolutely be regarded as offensive enough to be sent to jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to learn that your actions have consequences.
Absolutely. You don't want to slap them on the wrist, but at the same time, you don't want to discount them.
Right.
You don't want to count them out at all.
You committed a crime as a child, a juvenile. There should be, or absolutely should be, something put in place to where you try to reform that child, try to restructure their thought process.
Well, one thing I learned about working in a mental health institution and working with youth, sex offenders. This behavior is learned behavior.
Absolutely.
It's conditioning.
There we
go. A lot of people say, oh, they use mental health as an excuse. It's not an excuse. You have these children under 18, preteens, teenagers, who are committing these offenses. And honestly, they know right from wrong, yes. But the conditioning tells them that what they're doing is normal.
Absolutely.
It's telling them what they're doing is not so bad because it was done to them, and here they are.
There it is.
And you have your offenders, not just sexual or whatever the case may be. You have your offenders who see certain things. No, it's just like we talked last week about the abuse. Some women stick in it because that's what they saw.
Right.
You see people who are conditioned a certain way. So I think, again, that's where that prison reform can come in. You can start deconditioning these people. You can start putting these people through counseling. Because a lot of these kids, a lot of the prisoners, wouldn't otherwise have access to counseling.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't otherwise have that support to get counseling.
Right. You've gone through things and you have no idea how to heal, and no one is trying to help you heal.
No one's talking to you saying, hey, let's get this processed. Let's see what's going on behind. Let's see what's your backstory.
Right.
What's your backstory?
And that should be the primary. Man, if that's not your main focus, your number one question, when you see these children out here committing crimes or being overly aggressive or being sexually aggressive, you're a child and you touching on somebody else.
Absolutely.
Your main focus should be, where was this behavior learned? How? Why? What can we do to help you?
That's you. When I hear about these little girls who are just too fast and some of these boys are just doing too much, the first question I ask in my mind is, where did they get that from?
Where did you learn that? Absolutely.
Where did you learn it? Because there's no way a 10 to 12-year-old or older, but someone as young as 10 should be promiscuous. Where did she learn that? Where did she get that? That's not her own programming.
Absolutely.
Somebody put that into that baby's psyche.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where that prison reform comes from. Like, you can't just count these kids out and say there's just going to be a menace. Well, they're going to be a menace because you're going to make them that.
Absolutely.
You're gonna throw them in a prison, make them even harder than what they are, because they're gonna have to fight, and it's gonna have to be a survival of the fittest. Versus, let's go in here, let's get some education, let's get some counseling, let's get some mentoring.
Right.
You just throw them in with the wolves and say they need to learn their lesson.
And also, not just that, they do need to. They need consequences, but they need the reform, like you said. But as well, we need to make sure the punishment is fitting the crime.
Absolutely.
We still have a lot of things in this country that are racially driven,
Absolutely.
including prison sentences.
Absolutely.
And we have so many things that we don't discuss that we should be discussing.
Yep.
Put it down on the dinner table. A lot of these sentences are still racially driven. So when you have people in prison for minor drug charges for 40 and 50 years, that's not adding up for me. When you have children who are getting life sentences for, crimes like this, that's not adding up for me.
When you have people getting 15, 20 years for fighting dogs.
Right.
And then you have this person over here who's touched a child that walks away with probation.
Right. Or you have people, you have several people in the news recently within the last few years who were found guilty of rape. Oh, but you gave him
slaps on the wrist.
Slaps on the wrist. You gave him community service. You gave him probation, time served. It's just foolishness. But this person committed this crime, and you let him walk away. It's absolutely racially driven, because had he been a different race, he would have received a different outcome.
Absolutely.
He definitely would have. So that's the other elephant in the room that we need to address. Most of these sentences are racially driven, as I believe the death penalty is. Do white people get the death penalty? Absolutely. But I still feel like it's mostly racially driven. It's predominantly
the legal system is racially driven.
There you go. And that's it right there.
The legal system is. So.
And that's it.
Well, switches, we're gonna switch this thing up and we're gonna get out of here. It's been a good conversation this evening, and I hope that you guys will just think about some of the things we said. And of course, once we post post Friday, feel free to, or you don't have to wait till Friday. Feel free to hit us up on the page. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have anything.
We absolutely, yes. We want to catch the feedback on this one. I want to know where your head is, and it's not to judge anybody. I love to see things from different viewpoints.
Keep it respectful.
We want to keep it respectful, please. We want to respect other people's opinions. We want to respect other people's feelings. We don't want to, be too aggressive in expressing our own opinions.
Right.
You can be passionate about your opinion without being vulgar about your opinion, so that other people, so that other people can feel safe in this space for us to all communicate together. So we definitely want to be able to talk about this one. I want to know where your head is on this.
Right. So get at us. Don't forget to follow us. Hit us up on Twitter at Switching Lane. It's just switchlanes.com. Instagram at Switch Lanes Podcast. YouTube, Spreaker, the email switchinglanes901@gmail.com. Let us hear those topic suggestions and the spotlight. Our monthly spotlight is someone in the community that's doing great for our people, our community,
giving back.
If you know anyone, please hit us up in the email or hit us up in the messenger box on the Switching Lanes page or in the group.
Definitely.
And let us know that this is someone you feel like we should spotlight, and we'll reach out to that person to get some information. And again, like the page.
Share the page. Share.
Share the page. Share the group. Share the Instagram page. I know a lot of people who don't follow on Facebook, but they do Instagram pretty heavy. So share.
And don't forget we're on Twitter as well. Definitely check us out on Twitter. If you follow us, we always follow back. So any social media you're following us on, hit us up and let us know if we haven't noticed it, so that we can follow you back. Because just like you support us, we definitely want to support you as well.
And we thank you. Thank everyone for listening, just sticking it out with us so far. We're still, of course, working out some kinks and getting this thing down. So we appreciate all of you.
Yes, we love you guys so much. And until next time, love, Jen and Cicero.